Han, Luke, Leia, and Thrawn, Heir to the Empire, set the stage for the next generation of Star Wars fans in the dark time between The Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace. But how is that actually going to affect the galaxy when it comes to Star Wars and Dave Filoni's movie? Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. Now, Heir to the Empire was honestly a groundbreaking achievement for Star Wars. At the time, it was 1991 when it came out. At the time, it was a dark period for Star Wars. It was 8 years before The Phantom Menace came out, and it was several years since the last big moment in Star Wars happened, 8 years after Return of the Jedi. And there wasn't a lot going on when it came to the expanded universe and what was going on in terms of big moments for Star Wars. Originally, Heir to the Empire and the sequels after that, the other two books, were titled and marketed as the next trilogy in Star Wars. It picked up 5 years after Return of the Jedi ended. And it followed Han, Luke, and Leia, so the people that we all came to know and love in the original trilogy are set in this book. On top of that, we see the introduction of Thrawn, this character that we had never seen before this moment in Star Wars, and came out as this powerhouse. The heir to the Empire is who he truly is. In terms of the Star Wars universe at the time, you have the New Republic that's being built. You have Luke, who is trying to build out his experience as a Jedi Knight and train the next generation. Alongside Leia. Leia is Force sensitive in Legends, and she is trying to train in the Force. But on the opposite side of things, she's also a big political leader in the Republic and someone who Mon Mothma greatly relies on. You have that going on. Leia ends up becoming pregnant and has a set of twins in this trilogy. This is where all of the big things that you've probably heard mention of in Star Wars, this is kind of where it really takes place, and that's where people came to fall in love with Legends. Because before this, it was like, oh yeah, that's fill in the gaps, oh my goodness, okay, here we go. No, this was legit big moment things for the Star Wars universe. Where does Thrawn come into this? Thrawn is taking charge of the Empire. There's a series of warlords that have taken their own navies and are trying to keep the empirical planets in check and as part of their own little universe. On the opposite side, you have the New Republic that is working towards unity among the galaxy. But just like the Empire didn't go away when the first Death Star was destroyed, just because another Death Star and the Emperor were destroyed doesn't mean the Empire is dead. There are still outposts, entire planets, and portions of the galaxy that are still loyal to the Empire. And that's what Thrawn is trying to take advantage of. Thrawn's entire motivation is to rebuild the Empire. Obviously, there's the Chiss ascendancy, and that's where his true loyalty lies. But in terms of where the Empire is leading, he's trying to build out what once was this great empire. He got taken out of the picture in canon, as we know. But in Legends, it wasn't quite the case. And then we get into Dave Filoni's movie. Dave Filoni is going to be naming, reportedly, his movie, Heir to the Empire. And I would assume is taking bits and pieces of this book and book series when he's taking into consideration writing his movie. Or at least, I kind of hope. There are a lot of things that already don't work in this book for canon. First off, Han, Luke, and Leia. I don't know how they would do that because it seems like they're very anti-recast right now. I think it's the wrong decision, but that's where they land. And people aren't always a fan of the CGI deepfake stuff that they're going. But Book of Boba Fett, I think, did a pretty okay job with that and definitely stepped up the technology. So you have all these different pieces. I think he's going to take the core of the Heir to the Empire trilogy, which is Thrawn versus the New Republic. The New Republic trying not to make the same mistakes the Empire made in its rise to power, but also tackling these warlords and trying to stomp out the Empire. So I think that's what could possibly be happening when we look at what Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie is going to be doing. But I really want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen when we look at Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie? And do you think they're going to bring in more and more references and material from Heir to the Empire to his movie? I think it's likely, but it's not going to be in the way that we see it or want it or expect it to be, because the Heir to the Empire, that whole trilogy of books, relied so heavily on Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewbacca, and Lando. They have an opportunity. I don't know how far they'll go in that direction, though, because it is going to be the endgame moment for the Mandoverse. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, though. And as always, hey, check out our podcast, and may the Force be with you.